Welcome back to the Bobtail Help Desk. If you're new to our channel, I'm Caroline, and the Bobtail Help Desk is a series of videos to help you start and run a successful trucking business. If that sounds interesting to you, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. At Bobtail, we provide a hassle-free factoring service for truckers with no long-term contracts and no hidden fees. Factoring is a financial service that helps with the cash flow of a trucking business. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. Today I want to talk about compliance, and in particular, driver qualification files or DQ files. Compliance is many owner-operators and fleet managers' number one priority. If you're starting a business in this industry, you need to be good or get good at record keeping. A driver qualification file is a collection of documents that the U.S. Department of Transportation requires all carriers to keep on all CDL and non-CDL drivers. Yes, even if you're an owner-operator and you're the only person working in your company, you too need a DQ file. So, what's included in a driver qualification file? Buckle up, there's a lot of documents to go through. First up is a driver's application for employment. It may sound silly, but even if you're the only person driving in your company, you too need to fill out an application. It'll be the easiest job interview you ever did. Congratulations, you're hired. Sign it and file it away in your DQ file. Next, driver's licenses and road test certificates. This applies to both CDL and non-CDL drivers and includes any road test certificates for endorsements. You'll also need driver employment history from the last 3 years, including verification with any previous employers. If you're requesting this information for anyone but yourself, you'll need that person to sign a release form. Next up is safety performance history from the last 3 years. This includes any and all documentation on violations, accidents, and how those situations were resolved. This is documentation that you have to update at least once a year. You'll also need to pull a motor vehicle record from your state's Department of Motor Vehicles with the driver's history. This is another requirement that you have to update every year. One of the most important requirements in a DQ file is documentation around drug and alcohol testing. For all drivers, including yourself if you're driving, you need to have documentation from the last 3 years of any drug and alcohol testing you've undergone and any return to duty policies you or your drivers have completed after a positive drug or alcohol test. Drivers are also required to clear an alcohol and drug test before starting employment and be tested randomly on an annual basis. All results from these tests should be kept in their DQ files. This is where the FMCSA's Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse comes in. The Clearinghouse is a database of all violations of the FMCSA's Drug and Alcohol Testing Program. All drivers and employers are required to be on the Clearinghouse. This is also where drivers can give you consent to look up their records. Next is documentation about driver health, including a medical examination report and a medical examiner certificate. These have to be updated at least every 24 months. There are also certain health conditions and disabilities that require an additional skills test for drivers. If you're hiring drivers with less than 1 year of experience, you'll also need to keep on file a certificate from their FMCSA-approved training program. If you or any of your drivers are going to be operating a longer combination vehicle or LCV, you'll need to include in the DQ file a training certificate, or a certificate of grandfathering if the driver was eligible to operate an LCV before this requirement was put in place. And finally, for drivers who are working for more than one carrier at a time, there are different rules that apply to maintaining their DQ files. I'll leave a link in the description for more details so you can check it out. Whew. That's a lot of files to keep track of, but I don't really need to keep too close attention to this, right? I mean, if I have a couple of missing papers here and there, it doesn't really matter. Wrong. Not having updated DQ files is a huge risk to your company. First of all, in the event of an audit, the fines can be thousands of dollars. But honestly, that's the least of your worries. In the event of a lawsuit, not having updated DQ files is like serving up evidence on a silver platter to the plaintiff. I know what you're thinking. How in the world am I going to keep all of this together? File organization can be overwhelming, but rest assured that thousands of trucking entrepreneurs have figured this out in the past you can too. And since 2018, the FMCSA has allowed carriers to keep documentation electronically. This means that you could use a secure cloud storage platform like Apple, Google Drive, or Dropbox. But just as importantly as how and where you store all of these files is how often you update them. So here are 2 things that you're going to do. First, make a checklist for every time you hire a new driver with all of the required documents. I'll leave a link in the description to the FMCSA's checklist from their website. Second, schedule an internal annual DQ file audit on your calendar. This should be a half-day dedicated just to updating all of the records in your DQ files, with plenty of time to get your hands on any missing documents. There you have it, everything you need for your DQ files. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. So, what are you waiting for? Go get organized! And I'll see you in the next video.